The comfort zone. Topic that has been talked about so much in the self-help community, the Christian community, and other communities on the web and in person. I feel like we like to talk about this topic more than we like to engage with it. We like to plan to get outside of the comfort zone, but we don't actually get outside of the comfort zone. We find ourselves stuck. This morning, a quote popped into my brain that has been said many different ways by philosophers and gurus alike. Knowledge without action is futile. If you know what must be done and choose not to do it, then expect to make no progress. Nothing changes if nothing changes. I mentioned in my testimony video that I grew up with very bad social anxiety. This is something that lingered with me all throughout middle school, high school, and a little bit afterwards. It led to a decreased amount of enjoyment in simple like family activities, social activities. I played baseball for 15 years growing up, and because of that social anxiety, I did not enjoy it as much as I could have, which is sad because that was a sport I really enjoyed playing, and I still like to play casually. But because of that, it made the enjoyment much lessened. In high school, I had a small group of friends that I stuck around with, that I talked with, socialized with, but we were a close-knit group of friends that did not have great social skills. So it was really difficult for me to venture out of that friend group and try to talk to more people in high school. That's why I never was able to pursue a girlfriend because I never had those sort of skills. I was not equipped. I was not capable of doing such a thing. Which, that can be a separate video. Not saying that you have to get a girlfriend, but at the time, that was something that was on my radar, but I was too scared to want to pursue anyone because I did not have the capability to talk to people, to have simple conversations, I couldn't really shoot the shit with anyone, which was tough. I knew I had to venture out and try new things, but my desire to stay in the comfort zone, to stay in my little bubble, to stay in this area where I don't have to venture out into the uncomfortability of the world, the uncertainty, it kept me in this safe place, which did more damage than it did good. So I knew that something had to change. Why would I change my routine just so that I would add anxiety to my life if it meant, venturing out into the comfort zone? I think that's a mindset that a lot of people have where it's like, it's going to cause you more harm than good to step out from where you are right now into what could be, because it's going to lead to more pain, confusion, frustration, and anxiety, which I get it. I have full empathy, and I can relate to people like that because I know it's a very human emotion, a very human trait to have. So this is not knocking anyone who has been scared to try something, because that's something I still battle with right now. You see the point. Socializing is a skill that I truly did not think would get better growing up. I thought that it would be like a friend hitched at my hip that would always stay with me, feeding those negative thoughts. You're not good enough. Those people are going to think you're weird. What's even the point? He's kind of like that negative friend I thought would always stick by my side throughout the rest of my life. I genuinely thought that this would be an illness of mine that would not get better. But I knew something wasn't right. I knew that this was no way to live, and I knew that something had to change. So I slowly but surely was put outside of my comfort zone in many different situations. What really helped me was not even in high school, where my social skills advanced. It was when I got a job, when I got jobs, plural, that forced me to talk with people. I know I worked at a restaurant in my late teens, where you work at a restaurant, you have to talk with your coworkers, management and with customers. Many diverse groups of people. Yeah. And after that, I had to work, I worked for a fast food chain where, again, I'm dealing with coworkers, management, and regular people, which that seems to be a theme for many jobs. And even just going into the working world, you're going to learn these skills. These are professional skills. These are lifelong skills that will benefit anyone. So I'm eternally grateful that my parents and my friends encouraged me to, get a job, get jobs that push me outside of my comfort zone. So that helped to sharpen the sword of that skill set, which was speaking, over time. And I can say now that I'm a much better speaker, much better communicator now than when I was in my teens. I now work for a school where I have to use my communication skills every single day, working with a kid who has autism. And I help be a guardian, a leader, a shepherd, a guider to many of the other students. I've grown a lot in my skill and my wisdom related to this specific skill. And it has served me greatly. And this is one of those skills that I'm so glad I pushed myself outside of the comfort zone. The times when you feel the most scared, the times when you think that this is a hill too large to climb, just think that you're not alone. I've been there so many times. It is too much to count. Oftentimes, over top of that hill, over top of that steep climb, over top of that fearful look into the abyss is when you know that the next step you take, you're going to see a lot of growth. It's going to be painful. It's going to be uncomfortable, but you know that it is worth it because your future self will thank you. If this video resonated with you, then please drop a like, drop a subscription, and have a blessed day.